This is the video presentation of the story The Canterville Ghost, Chapter 3. In the previous chapter, we have seen that the ghost plans to take revenge on the Otis family. He was not happy with the way they treated him. He thought that they were insulting him and he got offended. And so, here in this chapter, chapter 3, we will see how he plans out the strategies that he makes to to take revenge on the Otis family. The next morning, when the Otis family met at breakfast, they discussed about the ghost openly. They discussed about Sir Simon openly. At this, Mr. Otis, the father, the United States minister, he expressed that he was annoyed because the ghost, Sir Simon, refused the bottle of lubricating oil. And he also added that the two boys, the twins, were not polite to throw the pillows to him. And then later on, they came to a conclusion saying that if he really declines to use the Rising Sun lubricating oil, they should have to take off the chains from him and keep it elsewhere because it would be impossible for them to sleep, you know, with that sound. Everyone agreed to that, and for a few days, the next week, for a few days, it went without any incident, and it was only the bloodstain that kept on reappearing every morning, though Washington scrubs it religiously with his this Paragon detergent, the stain remover. And one strange thing was that every morning the blood stain kept on changing. The color kept on changing. At first it was red color, but slowly it changed into dull red, and within few days it changed into rich purple. And one day when they when they came down for the breakfast, they saw that the bloodstain changed into bright emerald green. When Virginia saw that, she nearly cried out in disbelief and shock. The color of the blood kept on changing, and it made the Otis family very excited and intrigued by this new occurrence. They even bet on the change of the color, and they were eagerly waiting the next morning to see whose color prediction would be correct. The only person who did not indulge in this kind of joke was Virginia Otis because she felt bad. So, so here, as the ghost was planning how to attack the Otis family, he came to a conclusion that he will uh, make his second appearance. So it was a Sunday night, and the family were asleep early that night. All the lights were off, switched off, and everyone was sleeping peacefully. But suddenly, in the middle of the night, they could hear the family could hear a sudden fearful crash in the hall. So they were alarmed by the sound, and so everyone came downstairs, came out from their rooms and rushed downstairs to see what happened, to see what happened. So as they rushed downstairs, they found that a large suit of old armor had become detached from its stand and had fallen on the stone floor, and on the corner in a high-backed chair was the Canterville Ghost, rubbing his knee with an expression of acute agony on his face. And when the twins saw the ghost, they shot at the ghost with a pea shooter. and it hit the ghost very badly. And even the father, Mr. Otis, bought a revolver and pointed at the ghost and asked him to hold his hands up. When the ghost saw all this, he started up with a wild shriek of rage and swept through them like a mist, extinguishing Washington Otis' candle as he passed by. So he is leaving them all in total darkness. Um, so he ran towards the staircase and recovered himself and determined to give his celebrated peal of demonic laughter. He thought that if he laughed, in this way, they might get scared and they might get frightened. That's why he laughed so loudly and he ran towards his secret chamber. As he was doing that, Mrs. Otis mistook his demonic laughter to indigestion. She thought that he must be having a stomach pain because of indigestion, and maybe he was not well. So she came with a medicine bottle and offered Sir Simon with the medicine, saying that if you take this medicine, it will help you in your indigestion and you will be able to sleep peacefully. When Sir Simon saw Mrs. Otis with the medicine bottle and standing there and not getting scared, he wanted to he wanted to transform himself into a large black dog to scare Mrs. Otis. But then he thought about the twins. He remembered the twins and he heard them coming towards the room. So he just vanished away from that place also. And then he went to another room and he sat there entirely broken down. He was crying and he felt very bad because his plan, was not successful. And he thought that if he wore that armor, those Americans, the Otis family, would be impressed to see a ghost in an armor. But it was so heavy for him to wear because uh, he was so like weak and old, and so like he couldn't wear it and it fell down. And that is the reason his plan was not successful, and so he felt very bad and demotivated, and he kept he just spent the rest of the day and for some days in his room extremely ill. He fell sick and he just sat there in the room all to himself, just thinking about what will happen next. So here, Um, after some few days, he recovered from his illness, and then uh, he decided to attack the family uh, again. Okay, so he planned for his third attempt to frighten the Otis family, and so he carefully chose a date, and the date was 17 August. It was a Friday, and so to uh, attacked them, he also thought that this time he should plan carefully. And so he even, started to check out for an elaborate costume from his wardrobe. So he went over his wardrobe and he began to check what he should wear. While checking his wardrobe, he found a drooping hat with a red feather, and so he thought that this would be the perfect costume for him, and he also added some other costumes, and he was ready to frighten the Otis family. Um, he started to plan out to frighten them according to their treatment towards him. So first he thought of terrorizing Washington because he had a special grudge on him because it was Washington who began to rub the uh, famous bloodstain by with his Pinkerton's Paragon detergent. So he thought that he will attack him first, and the next he thought of attacking was Mr. and Mrs. Otis. He thought that he would place a cold, wet hand on Mrs. Otis' forehead and also to whisper scary things in the ear of Mr. Otis. The next he thought of um, scaring Virginia. But then he thought that she is very kind and gentle and pretty, and she never insulted him, so he thought he will just scare her a little bit only. The next he thought of scaring the twins. So he thought that for the twins he made a big plan because they are the ones who kept on torturing him. He planned in such a way that he thought that he will go inside the bedroom and he will sit on their chest, suffocating them. And also he will turn, into a green icy cold crops till they are paralyzed with fear. And thinking about everything, planning everything out, he set out to attack them. The night finally came, and he set out to execute his plan. But as he was coming near the room of Washington to attack him, he saw another ghost standing before him, and it terrorized him. It scared him so much because he has never seen another ghost in his life. He thought that he was the only ghost there. So that the other ghost, the other ghost that he saw was that it was very tall, it was very big, it had red eyes, and his hands were big, and it was very scary to look at. And it also had a breast, on the breast, it also had a placard. It was written something. So he didn't care to read that, and he ran for his life. He ran for his life uh, and from the ghost. Later on, he realized that he is also a ghost and he should not be afraid of other ghosts. Instead, he should extend his hand for friendship. And he thought that, two ghosts were better than one. So he went back to the place where he saw the ghost. When he reached near the other ghost, he saw that it was a fake ghost. And the placard that was on the breast, it was written that it is the Otis ghost, and this Otis ghost is the real one, and all others are just fake. Okay, so when he saw that, everything flashed across him, and he realized that he has been tricked and he has been fooled and outwitted. And he got so angry, he got so upset, and was he promised that there will be bloodshed in the family. He forgot all about frightening them. Now he is thinking that he will not frighten them, but instead he will murder them. Bloodshed will be there. He would kill them. Okay. Saying so, he uh, chanted a curse. Okay, he chanted a curse to the family, on the family, and he was waiting for the rooster to crow twice in the morning. Okay, because in the olden times, in the past, when he chanted the curse and the rooster crows twice in the morning, the family or whoever it is, they die. So that was the same thing that he was doing to this Otis family also. But unfortunately, as soon as he finished that chanting the curse, the rooster crowed only once. So he thought, maybe it was a mistake. So he chanted again and he was waiting for another rooster to crow. But as he kept waiting and waiting, it was already morning. It was already so bright. It was daylight. Everyone woke up and there was no sign of any rooster to crow for that day. So, feeling tired and agitated, the ghost retired back to the coffin that was in the room to rest for the day and to plan for the next attack. So, this is all for chapter 3. I hope you have understood. I would also request you to please read the text once. Thank you.